Hello students and welcome to the third part of Standard 9 Chapter 6 Tissues. So in earlier two videos I have discussed about plant tissues. Now today's video I will discuss about animal tissues. So let's begin. When we breathe, we can actually feel the movement of our chest. How do these body parts move? For this, we have specialized cells called muscle cells. The contraction and relaxation of these cells result in movement. Okay, you put your hand on your chest, okay, and then you will feel that the movement of that part. So it is because of muscle cells. Only muscle cells have the property of contraction and relaxation, okay, so as a result of which uh, our body will be moved. During breathing we inhale oxygen. Where does this oxygen go? It is absorbed in the lungs and then is transported to all the body cells throughout bloods. Okay, when we breathe we take oxygen inside our body and we take out carbon dioxide from our body. So after taking oxygen in our body by lungs, where this oxygen goes, so it will be transported throughout all the bodies by the blood cells. Why would cells need oxygen? The functions of mitochondria we studied earlier provide a clue to this question. Blood flows and carries various substances from one part of the body to the other part. For example, it carries oxygen and food to all the cells. It also collects wastes from all parts of the body and carries them to the liver and kidney for disposal. Okay. So why cell need oxygen? First question, because mitochondria is the mm, energy source of cell, and for its energy it requires oxygen. Blood which is red color in our body, it will flow from whole part of the our body. So what is its function? It will carry oxygen and food energy to all the parts of the cells, and after giving them energy, if there will be any waste product produced, then that waste will also collected by the blood and it will be given to liver and kidney for disposal or purification. Blood and muscles are both examples of tissues found in our body. On the basis of the functions they perform, we can think of different types of animal tissues such as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Okay, these four are parts of animal tissue. First is epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. Okay, again epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue and muscle forms muscular tissue. Okay, we will discuss in detail about these four type of tissues, but remember that blood is as of connective tissue because it will connect one part of the body to other part of the body, as its name suggests, whereas our muscles, our hand, our legs, whichever part we can move, they are called muscular tissue. So first we will study that 6.3.1, which is epithelial tissue. Okay, let's begin. The covering or protective tissue in the animal body are epithelial tissues. Okay, so our skin, not only our skin but our organs also, the outermost part, the skin of our organ or our body, they are epithelial tissue. They are protective, they will protect or cover our body. They will cover our body and they will protect our body from different harmful things. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, and kidney tubules are all made up of epithelial tissue. In short, all the boundaries of all the lungs, our skin, blood vessels, they all are made up of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form continuous sheet. They have only small amount of cementing material between them and almost no intercellular spaces. Obviously, anything entering or leaving the body must cross at least one layer of epithelium. That's why it will protect our body, okay, by that layer. As a result, the permeability of the cells of various epithelia play an important role in regulating the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment, and also between different parts of the body, because different parts of the body are also made up of epithelial tissue. So if one thing wants to go to another part, then it have to cross epithelial tissue. Regardless of the type, all epithelium is usually separated from the underlying tissue by an extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Okay, so epithelium is usually separated at bottom by fibrous membrane. Now different epithelia show different structures that correlate with their unique functions. So now we will study different type of epithelium tissue or epithelia, their structure and their function. So please remember how they look, what are their shape and what are their function. For example, in cells lining blood vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances occur throughout selectively permeable surface, there is a simple flat kind of epithelium. This is called the simple squamous epithelium. Okay, squama means scale of skin. Simple squamous epithelial cells are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. Okay, as you can see in this figure, this is simple squamous epithelium. It looks like flat surface. Okay, its thickness is not very large, they are very thin and they are flat, and central part they have nucleus. Okay, all these are nucleus, as you have seen. So simple squamous epithelial cells are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. The esophagus and the lining of the mouth are also covered with squamous epithelium. Okay, food pipe. The another name of esophagus is food pipe. When we take food from our mouth and it will transfer to our stomach, then that is called esophagus. It is made up of this squamous epithelial. And another is lining of the mouth. जो हमारा माउथ है, that is also made up of this squamous epithelial tissue. The skin, which protects the body, is also made up of squamous epithelium. Also our skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. There are not only one flat layer, but there are multiple layers which made up of one skin. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, the epithelium is called stratified squamous epithelial. Okay, see this figure. Okay, for example, this is one squamous, this is second squamous, this is third. So there are many squamous, they are arranged in one by one sequence. So they are called stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Okay. So our skin is made up of like that, where absorption and secretion occur as in the inner lining of the intestine. Tall epithelial cells are present. This columnar pillar-like epithelium facilitates movement across the epithelial barrier. Okay, see this figure. Yes, columnar like that. They are like this. Okay, like column type, and their nucleus is in the bottom part, not top or middle. Nucleus is located on the bottom part. Okay, so basically by their shape you can call it as a type of epithelial tissue. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelial tissue also has cilia, which are hair-like projections on the outer surface of epithelial cells. These cilia can move and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. This type of epithelium is the ciliated column epithelium. Cilia means what? This type of structure, this hair. Above this there are lots of hair. Okay, so the movement of this hair is responsible for the movement of mucus, and that's why they are called ciliated columnar epithelium. This is called, yes, okay, and they are called cilia. Cuboidal epithelium with cube-shaped cells forms the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands. where it provides mechanical support. So kidney and salivary glands, they are made up of cuboidal epithelium, which are responsible for mechanical support of salivary glands and kidney tubules. Epithelial cells often acquire additional specialization as gland cells, which can secrete substances at the epithelial surface. Sometimes a portion of the epithelial tissue folds inward and a multicellular or gland is formed. This is glandular epithelium. Okay. Uh, as you have not show the granular epithelium tissue, but they are type. So what are the type of tissue? First, epithelial tissue. One is squamous epithelial, stratified squamous epithelial, cuboidal epithelial, and columnar epithelial, or other words ciliated. This upper part is made up of cilia. Okay. So this and last is glandular epithelium tissue. When epithelial part fold inwards and multicellular gland is formed, then that epithelium is called glandular epithelium. Okay, so these 4 or 5 are the squamous, stratified squamous, cuboidal, columnar epithelium or ciliated epithelium, and last is glandular epithelium. These 5 are the different types of epithelium tissues. Ultimately their function is to protect our body. They are basically the outer part of our skin or inside our body, like liver, intestine, like that. Now second type of animal tissue is connective tissue. As name suggests, it will connect one part with another part. Blood is a type of connective tissue. Why would it be called connective tissue? A clue is provided in the introduction of this chapter. Now let us look at this type of tissue in some more detail. The cells of connective tissue are loosely spaced and embedded in an intercellular matrix. The matrix may be jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. The nature of matrix differs in concordance with the function of the particular connective tissue. Okay, so it's basically different type of connective tissue. So let's study activity 6.4. Take a drop of blood on slide and observe different cells present in it under microscope. Okay, so blood has a fluid liquid matrix called plasma, in which red blood corpuscles RBC with white blood corpuscles and platelets are suspended. If you see the part of the blood, then that blood is contains uh, plasma, which is liquid, then red blood cell and white blood cell. Okay, the plasma contains protein, salt, and hormones. For example, this is blood, so these are liquid type, which are called plasma, then red blood cell, then white blood cell, and then there are different type of materials which are in blood. The plasma contains proteins, salts, and hormones. Blood flows and transport gases, digested food, hormones, and waste materials to different parts of the body, as we have studied this in earlier classes. Now, bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. Okay, our whole skeleton system. They are connected by joining different types of bones. Okay, like this. This is one bone, then this is second bone. So they will both connected and they will form our skeleton system. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It is strong and non-flexible tissue. What would be the advantage of the properties for bone function? It will not break, it will not bend, it will feel support, and it will give shape to our body. Bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. So how bones, which materials from which bones are made up of? So bones are made up of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Okay, please remember it. Two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called ligament. Okay, yes, for example, our bones are like this. Okay, and then another is like this. So this part is connected by ligament. Okay, please remember it. This part is called ligament, from which bones are connected with each other. The tissue is very elastic. It has considerable strength. Ligaments contain very little matrix and connect bones with bones. Tendons are connect muscles to bones and are another type of connective tissue. Tendons are fibrous tissue with great strength but limited flexibility. Okay, then there are not bones to bones but also bones to muscles. For example, this is our bone and these are our muscles. So this connective, they are connected by which tendon? Okay, please remember, bone to bone are connected by ligaments, BLB. Bone to muscles are connected by tendons, B to M. Okay, BTM. So please remember these two terms. First is bone to bone, tendon, muscles, bone, ligament, bone. So please remember BTM and BLB. Another type of connective tissue is cartilage. Has widely spaced cells. The solid matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Cartilage smoothens bone surface at joints and is also present in the nose, ear, trachea and larynx. See, which are very smooth part. They are not very hard. If you touch your nose, ear, then they are very smooth. Okay, so they are made up of cartilage part. We can fold the cartilage of the ears, but we cannot bend the bones in our arms. Think of how the two tissues are different. Yes, bones are very strong, so we cannot bend our arms, but this cartilage are very smooth, so we can bend our ear, nose like that. Then next is areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and muscles, around blood vessels and nerves, and in bone marrow. Okay, this all these parts are we find areolar connective tissue. It fills the space inside organs and supports internal organs and helps in repair of tissues. See, areolar connective tissue, in fact all connective tissue, they will join one part with another part, so they will fill the space between that part and join those part. So next is areolar connective tissue. Then where are fats stored in our body? Fat storing adipose tissue is also found in the skin of in below the skin and between internal organs. The cells of this tissue are filled with fat globules. Storage of fat also lets it act as insulator. Okay, so between our fats, this adipose tissue is responsible. Okay, so which are type of connective tissue? First is areolar connective tissue, adipose connective tissue, then smooth cartilage tissue, then strong bone tissue, then connected ligament tissue, then uh, bone to muscle connected tendon tissue and blood. Okay, these seven are different types of connective tissue which are found in our body. Animal means human body. Okay, next, third type of connective tissue is muscular tissue, which are muscles. Our hands, our legs, whatever we move, they are muscular tissue. Muscular tissue consists of elongated cells, also called muscle fibers. This tissue is responsible for movement in our body. Okay, it will be move like our hand, our leg, we can move. Muscles contain special proteins called contractile proteins which contract and relax to cause movement. Only muscle cell have this property to contract and relax. By this special property we can move our muscles. We can move some muscles by conscious will. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to and stop when we do decide. We so and muscles we can move some muscles by conscious will. It means when we want, we decide, then at that time we can move that muscle. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to and stop when we so decide. Such muscles are called voluntary muscles. For example, your hands, your legs. Okay, you decide that when you want to move them, then they are move. If you don't want to move, then they will be steady. They are called voluntary muscle. Whereas there are involuntary muscles also. Involuntary muscles means our digestion system muscles, our breathing system muscles, our heartbeats, respiration. All these are involuntary muscles because they are not in our control. You can't control your digestion. If you want to stop digestion, you can't do. You can't control your heartbeats. You can't stop breathing. You can't stop digesting, heart breathing. That's type. So this type of muscular cells are called involuntary muscles. These muscles are also called skeletal muscles, as they are mostly attached to bones and help in body movement. Under the microscope, these muscles show alternate light and dark bands or striations when strained appropriately. As a result, they are also called striated muscles. The cells of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched, and multinucleate. It means C. Long like this. They are long, okay, cylindrical shape, unbranched, multinucleate means there will be more than two nucleus in this type of muscle cells. The movement of food in the alimentary canal or the contraction and relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary movements. We cannot really start them or stop them simply by wanting to do so. Smooth muscles, which are shown in figure 6.11b, or involuntary muscles, control such movements. They are also found in the iris of the eye, in ureters, and in the bronchi of the lungs. So where they found iris, we can't control the movement of our iris. It will close and open by itself. We can't control it. In ureters and in the bronchi of the lungs, the cells are long with pointed ends and uninucleate. They are also called unstriated nucleus. Why would they be called that? See figure 6.11b, like this. Look at their shape. Okay, there is only uninucleate means one nucleus, every one nucleus in one cell. Types of muscles fibers: striated muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. So these three are different subtype of muscle cells. First is striated muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. The nucleus of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout life. These involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles. Heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched, and uninucleate means one nucleus. They will be cylindrical and branched. There will be many branches. See, these are branches. These are branches. Then this is called branches. Okay, so there are different types of branches. Okay, so activity 6.5, compare the structures of different types of muscular tissues. Note down their shape, number of nuclei, and position of nuclei within the cell in the table 6.1. okay, yes, so you figure and find out and fill this table by your own self. Okay, this is your homework. Now fourth and last type of animal tissue is nervous tissue. Don't confuse in nervous tissue. It is made up of nerves, and nerves are not blood vessels. They are blood vessels which contains blood. They are different from nerves. They are not taking blood. They are taking impulses from different parts of the body to our brain, and from different brain to our part of the body. So blood vessels are different which carry blood, and nerves are different which taking impulses. All cells possess the ability to respond to stimuli. However, cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus are very rapidly from one place to another within the body. The brain, spinal cord, and nerves are all composed of the nervous tissue. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. A neuron consists of a cell body with nucleus and cytoplasm from which long thin hair-like parts arise. See, first of all, this is the structure of neuron. Okay, it is very important diagram, you have to remember it. So first of all, these are the ends, they are called dendrite ends. Okay, then there is center part which is called nucleus, this part is called cell body. Then this yellow line, they are called axon, and they are made up with nerve ending. This nerve ending again another ventral will joint, and this is very connected in very sequence, and ultimately they will reach to our brain or spinal cord. Okay, so this is only one neuron, there are millions of neurons in our body. Usually each neuron has a single long part called the axon and many short branched parts called dendrite. Okay, so this single blue part, it is called axon, and this all part and this are part are called dendrite. An individual nerve cell may be up to a meter long. Many nerve fibers bound together by connective tissue make up a nerve. The signal that passes along the nerve fiber is called a nerve impulse. It means when you touch some hot object, cold object, when any pin touches to your skin, then that impulse will directly go by nerve cell to your brain, and according to that your brain will decide that what action you have to take. Nerve impulses allow us to move our muscles when we want to. Suppose there will be very hot when your hand will touch to hot object, then your hand will transfer that hot impulses, electrical impulses to your brain, and your brain will send message to your hand to put it from to by touching that hot object. The functional combination of nerve and muscle tissue is fundamental to most animals. This combination enables animals to move rapidly in response to stimuli. Okay, stimuli like this here, by touching hot or cold object, by that touch me not plant, this type of things, or like when you touch any sharp objects, pinpoint objects, then you will suddenly take your hand. So these all things are done by these nerve cells. Okay, so these four types are called animal tissue. First is epithelial tissue, squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated, cuboidal epithelium, and glandular epithelium. Then connective tissue, areolar connective tissue, adipose connective tissue, cartilage, bone, ligament, tendon, and blood. Then muscular tissue, in which voluntary and involuntary, smooth and smooth are in smooth these are types, voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Then cardiac muscles, and fourth is nervous tissue. Okay, now these are some questions. So first question is, name the tissue responsible for movement of our body. So muscular tissue is responsible for movement in our body. Then second, what does a neuron look like? So neuron has a cell body or cyton which contains nucleus and cytoplasm, as you can see here in diagram. From this neuron, single long fiber like structure arises which are called axon. Okay, then there are many short branched fibers called dendrites. Dendrites pick up the impulse while axon transmit it further. An individual neuron may be up to a meter long. Okay, so these are the structure of neuron, or neuron will look like this. Third, give three features of cardiac muscles. So first, cardiac muscles cylindrical, they are having single nucleus or uninucleate, and they are branched. Then second, they have dark and light bands like they are straighted. Then third, they show continuous rhythmic activity which is involuntary. Then fourth question, what are the functions of areolar tissue? So areolar connective tissue will fill up space inside the internal organs. They will support the internal organs which are help to repair process of the tissue. They are present between skin and muscles. They are seen around blood vessels and nerves, and they are found inside the bone marrow too. These are the functions of areolar tissue. Okay, so by this your chapter number 6 tissues is finished. So I request you all to please go throughout this chapter, read this chapter carefully in your book, and then if you have any doubt, then ask me during the live lecture session. Okay, this is very easy chapter. You just have to remember different plant tissue and different animal tissues, their function and their location. Okay, so please read this chapter carefully, and if you have doubt, then please ask me in the live lecture. So please like this channel, subscribe this channel, and also press the bell icon so that you can get notification whenever I put new video. Also, you can suggest me if you want any improvement to this kind of video lectures. Okay, thank you students, bye.